We are on every day from 1 until 4 o'clock. Write that down. Always be prompt. Always attend right at 1 o'clock. If you have an excused absence, we have a podcast where you can make up the lesson from after 4 o'clock, John Kobylt Show on demand. And it's the same as the radio show, and you could listen to what you missed. I feel like I've done a segment like this like 30, 40 times in recent months. But every week, it seems, there's the same story. Los Angeles officials lied about something important when it came to the fire. And I just can't believe how consistent the lies are. Like almost everything they said in the early weeks and months turned out to be false. And we have another entrant. I got to put together a master list now, because it's hard to keep track of this. I actually, that's what Spencer Pratt was very good at, right off the top of his head when we did the interview last week. He was able to reel off one fact after another, one lie after another. And now the interim fire chief, Ronnie Villanueva, this guy is a minor character along the way. He replaced Kristen Crowley after Bass fired Crowley for telling the truth on how badly underfunded the fire department was under Bass. Of course, Crowley committed many of her own sins. But Ronnie Villanueva, when reports came out that the January 7th fire was a rekindling of a January 1st fire, known as the Lachman Fire, he said, well, it wasn't us. In fact, we went back to the area on January 3rd, heard there was some smoke, and we cold trailed an additional time. A cold trail. Meaning, what does that mean? They used their hands to feel for heat and dug out the hot spots. Now, that is labor intensive, doesn't it? Doesn't it sound that way?
Yes.
You've got a whole group of firefighters, hands and knees, and they're crawling in the dirt, like clawing like cats, digging into the roots, looking for heat, looking for signs of smoke. And as we know, the day before, a group of firefighters, they were rebelling against their battalion chief, Mario Garcia. They said, we shouldn't leave here. The rocks are hot. The tree stumps are hot. There's smoke smoldering coming out of the ground and out of the tree limbs and whatnot. And he was... The battalion chief said, no, everybody go home, roll up your hoses, out. There was some state official in the mix from the Parks Department. She wanted everybody out. The next day now, Ronnie Villanueva said, well, there was a group of firefighters that went on the 3rd. Here's what really happened. Villanueva claimed they cold trailed an additional time. But the Los Angeles Times has obtained records that call into question the statements. In other words, found out they lied. Villanueva had originally said, we went back over there again, we dug it all out again, we put ladders on it, we did everything we could do, cold trail again. Dispatch log obtained by the Times shows that the firefighters arrived at the scene that day and quickly reported seeing no smoke. They then canceled the order for another engine that was on the way. The call was cleared within 34 minutes. The log does not mention cold trailing. You can't tell if the crews took any other actions because there's nothing on the log. And the Los Angeles Fire Department has not answered any questions about it. The Times said they made multiple requests for comment to LA Fire Department spokesperson Captain Eric Scott. They emailed Captain Scott. They texted him. They made requests in person. But the agency is refusing to explain the discrepancy. Villanueva described detailed cold trailing. Again, that means they used their hands to feel for heat They dig out hot spots. They put ladders on it. Don't know exactly what that means. We went back over there. We dug it out all over again. We did everything that we could do. But nobody wrote that down. And nobody wants to talk about it.
Well, people need to be subpoenaed here.
Yeah, there should be. Now, this is what I want to see with an investigation. People should have to testify.
Absolutely.
Before, I mean, maybe, I guess it's going to have to be a federal hearing because the state won't do it. Newsom is protecting everybody. This is what you get with one-party rule. You can actually burn a town down, like almost 7,000 homes and other structures, displace tens of thousands of people, and everybody can lie and say, oh, we did everything we could. Yeah, we're right by the book. Yeah, we got the documents here. And nobody questions it. And when the truth comes out, nobody has any comment.
Everybody is afraid of being fired. How sad is that?
And a lot of these people need to be fired.
Yes.
Some of these people need to be.
Yes, absolutely. But the people that want to come out and tell the truth, I mean. No,
I know. There's got to be dozens, if not hundreds of people in the LA Fire Department who know the truth. Yeah, you're right. And they're afraid. And I understand
why. And they will be fired.
Yeah. No, I understand why. But, I mean, this is what investigative, you put people under oath. You have a state Senate or a state assembly committee hearing. You put them under oath where they have to tell the truth or they go to jail. Or you have a federal hearing.
That has to be done in this case. This is just ridiculous already.
It says here in the Times, conflict between the fire department's statements and its own record is likely to intensify frustration and anger among Palisades Fire victims.
No.
Thanks. Who wrote this?
I didn't know that.
Paul Pringle and Aline Chekmedian. All right, there you go. They are sharp tools, those two. But I appreciate that they dug out this information, that they did the reporting, and it's almost a year now.
Yes.
What, about 6 weeks? It'll be a year, and there are still gaps in what the fire department has told the public about what it did to prepare for and respond to the fire. There are gaps because nothing was done.
Everybody wants to, not the people that suffered, but the politicians, everybody wants to just move on. We're rebuilding. Just let's move on. It's almost been a year. No, you can't move on. There possibly criminal activity going on here.
The fire department's after-action report makes only a passing reference to the Lachman blaze, even though that was the origin of it.
We have somebody in custody.
Yeah. The arsonist fire was not put out. And good luck finding that in the 70-page report. And missing from the 70-page report is report of smoke in the area on January 3rd and a battalion chief's decision to pull the firefighters out of the scene the day before. So smoke was seen on January 2nd and January 3rd, and no wonder it got whipped up by the strong winds. I guess they thought none of this was ever going to come out. Do you know when you take away thousands of homes from people, everything's going to come out? That tragedy is so overwhelming. I mean, so searing. In fact, I told you we always take hikes there.
Yeah.
So my wife and I met a couple on the hike and asked them what their experience was. We interview everybody on the hike.
I'm sure. Oh, no, there's the Kobylts. Turn around.
They're always full of questions. And the gist of their story was the husband stood outside with a hose. He had a 2.5-inch fire hose because his family was threatened by a fire in the same area 1978 when he was a kid. He eventually took over the house, and he knew to have a fire hose and other things. And he said the fire department never came for much of the time. When they finally showed up, they said, yeah, we got to get a roof crew. Like they wanted to water down the roofs. He said the roof crew never showed up.
I told you, I have a friend whose house burned down in the Palisades, and same thing. No one came.
Nobody came
to their neighborhood.
So he saved several homes in his neighborhood by himself with his 2.5-inch hose. which goes back to last week's discussion. Yeah, the 117 million gallons would have made a difference. This guy was able to save his home and several others with his one lonely hose.
And there should be a hearing on that, too.
Yes.
A federal investigation. If the reservoir was filled, could that have prevented homes from being lost?
We're going to take a break. We are talking about, is this another big lie? This one told by the interim fire chief, Ronnie Villanueva. He claimed that the Palisades Fire burn area, the original fire was the Lachman Fire on the 1st, Palisades on the 7th of January. Villanueva said on January 3rd, they cold trailed that fire area, which means they used their hands to feel for heat. They dug out hot spots. Actually, they did none of those things. It looks like, I don't know, did he make that up? Because it's not in any of the records. Time's got a hold of him. Nothing in the log. And they keep asking by text, email, and in person, but the spokeshole, Captain Eric Scott, refuses to explain the discrepancy. Villanueva also refuses to explain. They emailed him directly. They asked for an interview. Nothing. So people are lying. They're making things up. Now, remember we were just talking about the after-action report.
Yes.
Listen to this claim by Janethia Hudley Hayes, president of the Board of Fire Commissioners. The after-action review that was presented to the commission is exactly what we asked for. She said the review is only supposed to cover the first 72 hours after the Palisades fire. She claims it's not an investigation. It should not include things that the newspaper seems to feel like it should be included. Well, they sold this thing as, the after-action report will give us the answers. Because reporters are asking Bass and Crowley and everybody else is like, well, what about this? What about that? Oh, the after-action report. They lied. And Janethia Hudley Hayes claims, no, it's supposed to be that way. What, you're supposed to not have a report to tell you how this thing started? Remember, the feds discovered. The ATF discovered the origin, that it was an arsonist. The after-action report detailed the mistakes in response to the Palisades fire. But 2 former LA Fire Department chief officers said the after-action report should have provided what might have gone wrong in the mop-up of the Lachman Fire. According to LAFD Battalion Chief Rick Crawford, you notice these guys are willing to give their names and be quoted on the record? A good after-action report documents what happened before the incident. He retired last year from the agency, and now he works for the U.S. Capitol. This after-action report should have gone back all the way to December 31st. Here's another. Patrick Butler, former assistant chief for the LAFD, worked on several after-action teams, including for the feds. If you limit an after-action report to an artificial timeline, you're not going to uncover everything you need to learn from. I'm thinking this was done on purpose. They snowed us with this claim of an after-action report. We thought we were going to get the full story, and you got a small fraction of the story, and then they go, oh, well, we never intended to give you the full story.
But do you really think that these people would think that reporters, I know what you think about a lot of the reporters out there, but that no one would follow up, that everybody would just kind of get in line and say, oh, okay, let's move on?
I think they thought by the time it came out, nobody would care anymore. I really do.
This was too big, too awful, too tragic for people to just forget. I mean, there's going to be so much coverage when we hit the 1-year mark. I mean, this was such a huge, huge story.
Yeah, and because they weren't able, the rebuilding is so excruciatingly slow. I mean, what Spencer Pratt said on our show last week is they've got 300 permits approved, and there's almost 7,000 structures burned. I mean, most of them homes. Well, at that rate, it's going to be 21 years.
Right.
So we're talking about the year 2045 before the Palisades is rebuilt. Patrick Butler, former assistant chief, said To exclude the Lachman Fire from the report gives the appearance of a cover-up. A cover-up of foundational facts. Yeah, foundational facts, the original facts.
Whose heads are going to roll, John?
Butler says it's not a harmless oversight. The consequences can be significant and far-reaching. Well, we've got a lot of people participating in the cover-up. Now, we have 3 different chiefs. And you notice the third chief, Jaime Moore, he doesn't want to hear any criticism of what happened.
He wants to keep his job.
Villanueva claimed that, hey, there was nothing there. Kristen Crowley blamed Bass and didn't want to take any responsibility. Bass,
how did that go?
Yeah. You know what's better? You want to keep your job? You don't blame Karen Bass.
No.
Everything I hear about that we've talked about on the air and things I hear off the air is she's extremely vindictive. You cross her, you're dead. And that's why everybody has shut up inside the Los Angeles Fire Department, because they got their families to feed. Well, we're not going to give up. She can't fire us.
She can't.